Hey everyone, I'm Clue. Welcome back to Small Flesh and Blood. So, before we head into a game, just to continue our little talk from the end of the last one regarding bows. So, Lexi's bow, I don't know if I can find it. I don't know if it'll list it. Let's see. If I type in bow, will it show them all? Even the ones I can't use? No, it doesn't. So, it's smart enough to know that. Anyway, well, I can use bows still. So, our bow choices are Death Dealer, Dreadbore, the Quivers, and Outsiders, which is this is cool to see. The fact that there's some more equipment coming out for different classes, and Redliner. The reason I like the Sandscale Greatbow is because it has, look at the top card of your deck. If it's an arrow, you can put it, you can put a card. Let's try it again. The reason I like Sandscale's Greatbow is because it allows you to look at the top card of your deck. You can then put it into your arsenal if it's an arrow card, or you can put a card from your hand. So it has that reload, has opt essentially, and it has go again. For instance, Death Dealer has the same pay 1. If you have no cards in your arsenal, put an arrow. So for 1, it's already limited. If it was put any card in your arsenal, then at least you could toggle into Azalea's ability. But then it has draw a card. And the reason I don't value this as much is because that draw a card doesn't help us. I can look, if it's an arrow, I can put an arrow card from there. So essentially it has the same effect as Death Dealer, but the secondary effect is that I know I can use Azalea's ability to actually trigger the Dominate effect because I know the top card of my deck is an arrow. Because I can also opt not to use that one and then swap it out with the one for Azalea. As for Redliner 0, if you have no cards in your arsenal, put a card from your hand face up. I think this would be a bit better in a tempo deck. You definitely need stuff like Tri-Shot just to really burn through arrows, but again, it doesn't have that +1 capability like these other ones does. Dreadball. You may put an arrow card from your hand face up into your arsenal, blah, blah, blah. If you do, it gains +1. It's okay. The arrows you control have defense reactions, can't be played. This hand is too specific. Obviously, it only works with some heroes, stuff like Oldheim in the last one. That would be good, but most likely Death Dealer and the Sandscale Greatbows are the only really good bows to use simply because of that +1 mechanic, and draw is such a big thing in Flesh and Blood. And then I just obviously value the opt more than actually drawing a card, because if you draw a card, you can't really use it if it's an arrow, whereas with this I can see if it's an arrow, I can put straight into my quiver and then still have the +1, or if it's not, I still know it's there, meaning I can't use Azalea's effect, or I could use Azalea's effect at the end of the round to put that card. I don't know, I might have to play around with Death Dealer just to shore up that sort of mentality, but we'll find a game and then we'll play. Right, Rhinar. Cool. Better matchup, I feel, especially going second. No stall. Obviously, the discard mechanic on Rhino is a bit fairer. It just means you can't react, but you still have your cards for your turn. So, feels a bit better playing. We're trying New Horizons out for a change. I still think the combo ability of the common headpiece is a bit better, but we'll see what we can do. Short shot, long shot. Oh, we both have rapid fire and rain razors. So this should be good. I can't use my headpiece to put an arrow. It's alright. I can use bullseye braces and then Sandscale Greatbow. So we're probably just taking our lumps. We do draw back up, so I guess I can block with the arrow cards and just hope I draw into them. Though if we get something like 3 of a kind, that works too. 10 damage, right off the cusp. Yeah, I'm definitely blocking. Why did that go down damage? Ah, by less than 2. Then the effects I should read. Okay. Both roll back up. We did not get shafted. In fact, immobilizing arrows is pretty great. Obviously, 1 has to return to our deck. It's not too bad. So we're using Deep Blue. Get rid of 1. Plus. We don't have to use the Perch Grapplers, so we have lots of resources to work with. We have Reload. I can gimp myself, though, if I don't do this correctly. Oh well. I'll keep Rapid Fire, actually. No, I can't. Well, I can. We'll see what we can do. We're using immobilizing shots, and then hopefully with the Sand Scale Great Bow we can find something. Definitely a card we want to get off. But I think it was worth the 2 buffs. Yeah, we made them block with quite a bit. Okay, and then Sand Scale Great Bow. Rain Razors. At least we know what we're drawing into. I obviously don't want to put Rapid Fire into our arsenal. Well, actually, it's Reload, so I do. That's a decent enough card to put in our arsenal. Okay, Poison Tips, Tri-Shot. Tri-Shot is pretty good. So we're doing Rapid Fire, Rain Razors, Pathing Helix goes in, Tri-Shot, and then hopefully looking for cards with our bow. It stalls out though, so I guess maybe the other bow is a bit better. There's additional cost. Fine. Poison Tips. Discard a card. No, I think I'd value the damage a bit more. How much are they taking for? That doesn't matter. Let's think about it. Do I want to use Rapid Fire, or do I want to cycle it out? 9 damage. That's fine. If we use Rapid Fire, we can attack multiple times, it's fine. Helix. Pathing Helix goes into our arsenal. I suppose Poison the Tips we want just to reload. Yeah, because you can put any card, then I can cycle it out. Are you baiting for something? Are you trying to see if I do something? All good. More time for me to think about mine. Okay. Rapid Fire reloads Pathing Helix. Pathing Helix hits, I can put a card in. Doesn't hit, I can use Poison Tips. So either way, I'm doing that. And then we're most likely just pitching Tri-Shot. I don't want to block. Yeah, no. New Horizons, I don't think I can make enough use of it. I think on Lexi, definitely worthwhile. On Azalea, there's just no way to get enough cards into your arsenal. I think the main enabler for Lexi is their bow. Attacks gain +2. Got 6 more, draw 2 cards. Interesting. Take 5. They still have 1 action. 5 gauntlets. They're trying to finish me. They are, kudos to them. Yeah, for 11. Do I just take the 11? Kinda. Considering I can only block for 3. And this is my 1 arrow card too. Okay. So, let's try. Rapid Fire. Into Pathing Helix. Then, I'd still like just the damage from Rain Razors. I can't. They're probably going to block it anyway. So the only way I can sort of win this matchup is if I attack enough to drain their hand. But I mean, they have sort of burnt through all their equipment. Well, I have too, essentially. But yeah, having the other hood would just allow me to put a card tray in my arsenal, meaning I can skip this step that I'm doing, essentially. Wasn't even arrow. Ugh. Well, nothing I can do then. We'll tweak the deck to end this off. Or I might move on to another hero. I think I want to just refine it a little bit. Again, the combo's here. I just think the other bow, I guess, might change it up enough. Yeah, so let's just tweak it a little bit to end things off. Okay, so a few things I need to consider. For one, I need a little bit more resources than what I have, or I need to cut out these one-cost arrows. Even though they're meant to really help me because they can shut down an opponent's turn and then allow me to go into a combo. I think there's just too many of them. And the bow is the big thing. So I think we want to try the Death Dealer instead of the Sandscale Great Bow. I don't know. Forget bias. Try it before you say you don't like it. Okay, so Seek and Destroy. I think it's too hard to accomplish. It's a great ability. If it gets off, it's pretty game winning, but it's more in a slower deck where you sort of want to play one arrow a turn that deals a lot of damage, and I'm just going for a tempo deck. So I think Seek and Destroy needs to go. Try Shot is probably another one that I don't think we'll see a lot of use unless I can get a bit more resources. Try Draw is the main thing, which hopefully this bow should fix up. I mean, Try Shot into the bow would really allow me to extend turns where I activate Honing Hood, the Perch Grapplers, and Deep Blue, or even Rapid Fire, which is a bit better. Granted, it's one arrow for 2 mana essentially. Other than that, we've got one way to get arrow into Arsenal, 2 ways to get an arrow into Arsenal, plus a weapon, that's 3. So I have 3 ways to get arrows into an arsenal on any given turn, regardless of having cards with reload. So we have 2 spots left. I would like a yellow or blue draw card. Anything for us. Deck. I guess we'll look at Ranger. We already have 3 of kind, I guess. So what is there? Getting Tone doesn't work. Trade-in doesn't work. I think arrows, just arrow cards are probably a bit better. Shuffle your hand, nope. That was just shuffle your hand and not your arsenal. I think that would be great. Strategic planning, just get me a card back, no. I think we need to look at arrows, because that's another thing. Drawing into arrows is... Well, no, because if we're using Death Deal, we don't actually need to look for arrows. I'm going to look around, see what final 2 cards we can sort of include. I think the best play is to use Drill Shot. So cards that have an effect like this, I think I value more so having the higher version, so blue being able to pitch for 3. So when this hits a hero, put a -1 equipment counter, defense counter on equipment they control. So I think that's an impactful ability that will bait your opponent into blocking the damage. Because again, there's nothing substantial in the way of damage. So like Guardian or Brutes, where they do say 6+ damage on average. So your opponent really has to block. On these types of cards, they don't really have to dump their hand. And I think that's a big aspect of the learning curve of Flesh and Blood, is knowing how to get away with turns with fewer cards, because you should be playing more defensively, and that's obviously something I don't do. I try to go for, combos or most damage, and I leave myself open. So I think thinking a bit more strategically, value-wise, me using Drill Shot, even if that's all I do on my turn, is most likely going to bait the opponent into blocking and dumping their hand, because it has that -1 counter, which can, offset their combos they're going to do, at least in the early game. So I think Drill Shot is something I'd like to incorporate more. And I already have 2 copies in yellow, so why not have 2 copies in blue? Anyway, we'll probably do 1 or 2 more games with this deck, see how it goes, and then call it for Azalea and move on. Out of curiosity, who would be next? Bravo. Interesting. Same for Blitz? No, Benji. Wow, that's interesting. Why was Bolton not before Bravo then? Is it Sir? Serbian? European? Obviously, British is I. Interesting. Anyway, that'll be it for now. See you next time.